Dave Rubin hosts the Rubin Report. We don't agree on everything politically, but he is a sincere believer in free speech. We wanted to talk to him tonight. Dave, thanks very much for coming on. I'm starting to think that a lot of us overestimated the willingness of the Democratic establishment to coexist with people who disagree with them and underestimated the real threat, the actual existential threat to speech that we face now. Do you think that's right?
Well, I wish I could say that this whole situation is shocking, but this is exactly what I've been raising the alarm about on my show for the last 5 or so years. As you know, I come from the left. I was a progressive. I still consider myself a liberal in the best sense of liberalism, classical liberalism, and I believe in the individual and all of that stuff that we've talked about several times. But I want to address a couple things here. First, on the way that you've responded to the attacks by not apologizing. I think that was exactly the right thing to do. You know, all of us have joked. All of us have made mistakes. All of us have a past. All of us have done things that we're not proud of, and a series of other things. If you've lived, you've done those things, including, by the way, the very same Media Matters people who are going after you and all the media elite who are rebelling.
Well, let me just stop you there. I agree. And if I have wounded someone or wronged someone, I will always apologize to that person and ask for forgiveness. I do it every day. I'm not going to apologize to Media Matters or any other Soros-backed pressure group. I haven't wronged them. They've wronged me. I owe them nothing, including an apology, and I will never bow to them, period. Excuse me.
I couldn't agree more.
Control myself.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm for apology, but not to them.
Well, I couldn't agree more, and that's, by the way, that's exactly the message that I think your audience and the average American needs to hear right now. We have watched years now of the mob coming for everybody, and as you just laid out, a lot of this stuff is coordinated between nonprofits and media organizations and the rest of it, and it is time that we stop giving into it. And not only do we have to stop giving into it so that a guy like you isn't taken out and that a network like Fox isn't taken out, or any network. You know, we are still free here in this country for a little while longer, I think, and I will continue to fight for. But it's not just that. It's because what they're really trying to do is they are trying to make the average citizen, the average person who is an American, fear that whatever they said 20 years ago that someone can dig up on Facebook or wherever it is, or some old audio recording, that they'll go after them. You were joking around with Bubba the Love Sponge. Now, I'm pretty sure that as a shock jock, you know who I'd love to get involved in this fight? If Howard Stern happens to watch your show by any chance. You know, for 30 years, he was the #1 shock jock in the country. And imagine the politicians, actors, comedians, authors, that walked through that studio and said completely bananas, crazy things, sometimes joking, sometimes partly true. It doesn't even matter. The point is that if we are going to come for everyone's past, guess what? That means everyone. And the same people who are coming for you, they better watch out. And that idea of mutually assured destruction, it's not it's not part of the America that I want to be part of. I want to be part of something that has a little bit of forgiveness, that understands we're all imperfect creatures, and that is a little more respectful of our ability to agree to disagree, because that's what this country was founded on.
Exactly. In the last 24 hours, I've received, I don't know, dozens of transcripts of prominent progressives saying awful things on this show or that show, or texts from them. You know, we could do a whole show on this. They said it too. I'm not doing that, because I think you ought to be able to say what you think. I think you ought to be able to make jokes, make mistakes, and I'm not going to play their game, period. And I don't care if I benefit from it. I'm never doing that. And very quickly, tell us, you've thought about this so much, and I hope you'll come back on to further explain it, but what can the average person who is essentially powerless in the face of this do to protect his right to his God-given rights?
Start speaking up now. You know, this comes up every college I speak at, every public event I speak at. This is what young people are asking about. I'm afraid to speak up. I want to get the grade. I want to get out of school, or I don't want to get fired from my job. That freezing ability that is silencing good, decent people who usually lean a little bit right. They're usually libertarians or conservatives, something like that. Imagine if everyone started speaking up. And I don't believe that most people are racist. I don't believe that most people are bigots or want to do harm. I think good people are now afraid to speak. And the only way we're going to break this thing, and that's why they're coming after you, because you've been the most vocal in the mainstream fighting this. And if more of us start doing it, they can't take us all down. And if we don't, then we'll get what we deserve, which is something far, far worse than this country that they seem to have so many problems with.
I hope your words wind up on people's refrigerators, because you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Dave Rubin, thank you. It was great to see you.
Well, I'll keep defending you, man, really. I think more people need to do it, and you have a lot of support out there. And I can tell you this, you have support in quarters of the left that you don't even know you do, and they're just afraid to speak out, and I'll keep working on those guys too.
I appreciate it. Dave Rubin, thank you.